how you doing, man? You golfed earlier, right?
Yeah, so I actually pulled a muscle in my back. So
you did?
Yeah, last week, and it is absolutely killing me. So I only got to putt today.
Oh,
but
you did?
I did sink some good putts.
Did
so,
you? Okay, good.
So it did matter.
Was the green mostly flat here, or was it like
No, not at all. Actually, it was somebody that is not good at putting like myself. It was actually quite a nightmare. But,
okay?
no, I got lucky. I did sink some putts, so it was a lot of fun.
Oh, that's good. Are you a golfer, or was this like?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
And that's what killed me more than anything, because I knew if I swung a club, like, it would just make it that much worse. And but luckily, the rest of my team they didn't need me at all.
Oh, good.
They were good.
Oh, that's good. So I kind of want to just talk about how you got into music. I love hearing how people are inspired earlier in their life. And from what I understand, your grandfather was the one that actually got you into music.
Yeah. So at all of our family functions, everybody brings a guitar, some kind of instrument, whether it be a guitar, a mandolin, a banjo, a bass, and everybody just brings an instrument. And at all of our family functions, after everybody gets done eating, you're expected to pull out an instrument and start playing music with everybody.
That's so cool.
But like, I'm literally the only one in my whole family that's not born in Eastern Kentucky.
Okay.
So I had no idea how to play bluegrass music.
Okay.
And, honestly, I just got tired of getting an extra piece of pie and sitting in the corner. I still get the extra piece of pie, don't get me wrong, but now it seems like I'm kind of in the middle of the circle at all those family functions, which is cool. But, yeah, like my granddad, he taught me G, C, and D on the guitar.
And you kind of just went from there?
Yeah, like, I went to YouTube University. So anytime, like, I got...
Sorry, I was in my brain. I was like, which... Oh, I get it.
Yeah. So anytime, like, I got stumped on a song or something, I would just go to YouTube. And a lot of times, to this day, actually, I still can't read a lick of music at all.
Really?
No.
And you're this talented, and I'm not saying, like...
I don't know about that. But.
No, but you play... I've seen you play, so you kind of just make it up, like, as you go along, or you kind of...
Yeah, well, like, if it's... The thing about, songwriting is you can make it up as you go. But, if I'm trying to copy another song or, play a cover or something like that, if I can hear it, I can play it.
Wow.
So
I feel like that takes almost, no offense to musicians out there that play from music reading, but I feel like that takes almost more talent to be able to just hear a song and just play it from there.
Yeah, I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I can't just automatically just go to it,
okay,
get it. But, if I can hear it, it may take me a minute or two, but I'll figure it out.
Right.
It just sticks with you.
That's crazy. That's talent. So, I mean, speaking of talent, I read, it's a really kind of inspirational story on courage. I read about how you essentially got yourself kind of discovered. You were at a sushi restaurant, and Chris Janson was there?
Yeah, I was on a first date with a girl, and actually...
So you were already nervous. You were already nervous for the first date, I'm sure.
I mean, she was a real good-looking girl. But, no, but so I was actually trying to kill two birds with one stone and make a date out of getting guitar strings.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so I called this girl up, asked her if she wanted to ride with me to the music shop. She agreed to it. So we get to Guitar Center. I go in, I get my strings. I come back out and hop in the truck, ask her what she wanted to eat. And she was like, well, Shane, I really like sushi. And I'm like, oh, hell. And growing up in Tennessee, like, our sushi's not fresh, first of all.
Got it. Yeah.
And, it's just the thought of eating raw fish turns my stomach.
Right.
I'll catch them all day long, but I'm,
You'll cook them.
Yeah, you slap some batter on both sides and throw them in some sizzling grease, and that's up my alley. But anyways, we went to the sushi restaurant, and I just punched in sushi near me on my iPhone. We get there, we go to walk in. Chris Janson holds the door for me when we went to walk in.
What?
Yeah. And I'd been to 7 concerts my whole life. To see Chris Janson was 5 of the 7.
Really?
Yeah.
And so it must have been fate.
Oh, absolutely. I say it's a God thing.
Wow.
Because, hell, I don't even eat sushi. I was on a first date with a girl.
Right.
But anyways, I ended up going up to him, introducing myself, telling him what a fan I was, and that I wrote songs and that it would mean the world to me if he would listen to some of them. And his wife that was sitting right beside him, Kelly, spoke up and said, "Hey, I'm Kelly. I'm Chris's wife. I'm his manager.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also a music publisher. Is that a receipt you're holding in your hand? I'll write my email down on it. You can send us some songs, and you have our word. We'll listen to them." I said, "Yes, ma'am. That'd be great. Thank you." And Chris immediately looked up at me, and he said, "Did you just say yes, ma'am?" And I said, "Yes, sir." And he said, "I like that a lot. Pull up a chair and talk to me."
Really?
So I did. We talked about hunting and fishing and God and country music and writing songs and anything you could imagine. We talked about it. And as soon as I got up, I sent some songs to that email. 2 weeks later, I was at work. Chris Janson was on my caller ID.
Wow.
My phone was ringing. And I answered it. I said, "Hello." He said, "What are you doing, Shane?" I said, "Well, it's a Wednesday morning. I'm at work like most normal people, you know."
Right.
And he said, "What do you say you put your 2-week notice in and come on tour with me?"
Oh, my God.
So I did.
Your stomach probably, like, dropped, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure I started crying like a little girl. But, yeah, so he asked me to come out on tour with him and offered me a publishing deal where I could write songs full-time, and I just started living this crazy life.
That's your dream. That was all you wanted.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, that's the thing, man. I feel like I've done more in the last 8 months of my life than, it seems like most people would do in 20 years.
Yeah.
And
And
I'm super blessed.
This is just the beginning, I feel like.
I hope so.
Right.
I sure hope so, because I love it.
Right. So can I ask you this? I know you love it, and the thing is, I know you also work your butt off.
Yeah.
You're always on the road, and when you're not performing, I'm sure you're writing songs.
Yeah.
So I like to cover this because I feel like this is something that probably I feel like should be talked about a little bit more. How do you kind of keep your mental health in check when you're doing all that? Because you probably don't have a lot of downtime.
I don't. It's like right now, okay? I've been gone. I was home for like 18 hours.
Oh, wow.
Like 5 days ago. Other than that, if we're not including that, this makes almost 2 weeks I've been out on the road.
Wow.
And I still have another week to go. But, it's like you said, I certainly do not have a lot of time to myself, but that's what I signed up for.
Yeah.
I knew that going in. Man, here's kind of the way I think on it is, you could go, me and you could fly to downtown Nashville right now and go on Broadway. You know what Broadway is?
Yes, I'm very familiar, yes.
We could go
My mom lives in Nolensville.
Oh, okay, cool.
Or she used to, sorry.
Yeah. So we could fly to Nashville right now. We could go immediately to Broadway. It'd be, 2 in the morning? Whatever.
Oh, packed.
Yeah. But what I'm getting at is all those musicians that are lined up playing those little honky-tonks, dead tired, they've probably been playing for hours already. All those people that are grinding are doing that in a slight hope of a chance that they get to do what I do.
Yeah.
And, there's a lot of times where, maybe a show wasn't what I expected it would be or something like that. And even the ones like last week, I played in front of 35,000 one night, 25,000 another night, and 12,000 another night, back to back to back. But what I'm getting at is, there's a lot of times where you'll come back from a show, good or bad, and I'll just lay in the bed before I fall asleep. And I'll just think about, maybe not necessarily the future, but how far you've come in the amount of time you've been working at what you've been working at.
Yeah.
And, it's a true testament to anything can happen. And I mean that, that sounds overused or however you want to say it, but dude, I was making $11 an hour 15 months ago.
Wow.
Nobody knew who I was. And, I picked up a guitar 4.5 years ago. My senior year of high school is when I picked up a guitar. And I started writing songs. I started playing guitar. I started getting as many connections as I could. And just don't let anybody tell you no.
Right.
But what I'm getting at is what little time that I do have, Man, I spend a lot of time on a golf course.
Do
I
you?
really
Okay.
do.
I feel like that's a lot of country artists decompress.
Yeah, because I mean, it's crazy because a lot of people think golf is like you go out with all your buddies, and yeah, that's cool too. But I write a bunch of songs on a golf course. I write a bunch of songs on a golf course by myself. If I get mad or something and, I completely shank one, I'll just sit in the golf cart and I'll just kind of think for a second and start laughing and go pick up my ball and try it again.
That's awesome. See, a lot of people. So you golf alone. A lot of people think I'm weird because I golf alone. I actually sometimes prefer it.
I think you golf best when you're alone.
Yep.
At least that's how the stories are. But no, I mean, I can be found on a golf course. First thing I did when I got my record deal was I joined the country club.
Oh, awesome.
And actually, I think I was the youngest person to join the country club. So it's a bunch of old men, and they don't even show up until like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So I'll wake up at 6:30 or 7, go out there at sunrise, and just waste the day away. But
I'll tell you, the weather back at home there, here, if you tried to golf during the summer at all, like past, I don't know, 11 o'clock, you would probably fry to death because it gets like 105 degrees by like
well, that's how it is back home too, though.
In Nashville?
Yeah. Man.
Oh wow. Okay.
It was 101 today.
And they will golf in 101 degree out there?
I do.
Oh wow.
Because I mean, you think about it, like a lot of times I golf in the rain too.
Yeah.
I mean, as crazy as that sounds, because what little bit of time that I have, I try to make the best of it. But yeah, man, I'm found on a golf course. I'm found in a deer stand, obviously, or on a bass boat somewhere in the middle of the water.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that, and thank you for sharing with
Absolutely.
that.
I mean, I think it's really important to kind of have that thing to unwind.
Yes.
And another thing is I've never been one to talk about my feelings, so that's why I lean on songwriting so much.
You write your feelings, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, I love it. Shane Prophet, thank you so much for coming on New in Nashville.